There were 8 games on Wednesday. There were, of course, wacky rotations, big performances, and we're going to recap it all here. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the Wenger bus is coming any day now, I'm sure. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That is $150, win or lose. Go to fanduel.com/lockedon to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We're available for you to double bang on all platforms. Thumb it up. Leave your comments. Bell, bell, bell. We're here. We know what we're doing, right? It's Wednesday's games. We're going to talk about the 8 of them that we're on. We're going to cover whatever we need to cover. We're going to talk about things that might be interesting or trends, but there is just every day from now on until the end of the year is just going to get wackier and wackier. That is just how this stuff does go down. Bit of a news update. We do have Giannis regular season over. Don't think that's much of a surprise, but yeah, we saw what happened. The good news is, of course, that Giannis did not have any Achilles problems, just a calf strain. A 1-week return from a calf strain would be very, very early. The play-in helps, obviously, but I wouldn't be shocked if Giannis misses game 1 or game 2 or even longer of the first round of the playoffs. We'll talk about the Bucks later on because they had a game today. And you'll be shocked to know that the Jazz and the Blazers, the exact same injury scenario, except the Blazers decided that they were going to actually list Jeremy Grant as out. Unbelievable stuff after 15 in a row doubtful tags, but he's finally succumbed to the out tag. He won't play again this season, nor will Simons, nor will Kamara, nor will Sharp, nor will Brogdon, none of those guys. For the Jazz, no more Jordan Clarkson again, no John Collins again, no Walker Kessler again, no Chris Dunn again, no Colin Sexton, which was a little bit of a surprise. So I don't know whether that just holds all the way through here as well. It's quite possible that it does, especially for Collins, Clarkson, and Dunn. They're finished. Kessler, I would say, is finished as well. Sexton, I'm still not sure about, but you know, the illness lasting another 48 hours is a little bit of a surprise. So we'll see exactly where we're at with that. But that's where we're at with that in terms of the news. But we're going to get flying straight into this. We're going to talk about the games because there are 8 of them that we're going to get through. And the first one was the early game because that's how the first game works. It was Memphis and Cleveland. Of course, Memphis just sat everybody. And this is the one. This was Jordan Goodwin's game that he couldn't play, so he was out. Jake LaRavia started in his spot while Don Mitchell returned for Cleveland. We sort of knew that there was going to be a game for Goodwin, and I still believe there is one coming for Jemison as well. We just don't know when that was going to be. Today was Goodwin's one, so he should be able to play the final 2, and that makes me worry that Jemison has to sit one of these final 2 games. We also had Brandon Clark resting on the back-to-back, but there's no more back-to-back, so he'll play Friday, Sunday, I'm guessing. Lamar Stevens started in his position. So let's talk about the game. The Cavs win it easy. 110-98 was the final score. We'll talk about the Memphis side. It is hard to look at this and know what the hell we're doing because there was no Jaren, no Bain, no Williams, no Smart. They won't return. There's no Morant, there's no Zaire, there's no Yuta, there's no Derrick Rose. They won't return. I also don't think that Luke Kennard or that John Conchar or Santi Aldama will play again. In fact, out of everybody who missed today's game for the Grizzlies, the 2 guys who I think will return will be Brandon Clark and it will be Jordan Goodwin. And I could see Clark coming back next game starting and then trade Jemison having that one off, but I don't know. What we got from Jake LaRavia, who sat last game, had 32 points, 7 rebounds, 8 triples, 2 steals, and a block 40 minutes. It's an amazing game. It's fantastic. I definitely wouldn't be just running and striving to grab LaRavia while burning a roster spot where I can't use on Thursday, but it is interesting. And same as Lamar Stevens, who had 16 and 6 with 1 steal and 4 blocks. But remember, at this point of the year, when you're trotting out Tim Allen and Jack White, like, someone's going to put up numbers. Scottie Pippen played 36 minutes. He had 18, 4 and 6 with 2 steals. Obviously, no Goodwin, no Kennard, no Conchar. Pippen is worth rostering, and he will not have to sit any games. So watch that. Greg Jackson, one of the biggest Richie Benos I've ever seen, GG. 22 points, 2 threes, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. A shame he couldn't have 22 shots. He had 21. He was inefficient as usual, but the good defensive stats were nice. And then Trey Jemison played 36. We know what he does. He had rebounds, he had 4 blocks, and he had a steal. You would have hoped that he shot better than 29%, and you can keep using him. But again, I do fear that he sits one of these games. In fact, I think he's almost going to be mandated to sit one of them. Not much else going on there. Like, I'm not interested in Xavier Simpson. I'm not interested in Tim Allen. I'm not interested in Jack White. Shout out also to the broadcast of this game when Tim Allen was up on the screen and they had no idea who he was. So to fulfill the prophecy, they just put question marks everywhere because that is what this team is. The Memphis question marks. They've been that all season. And that's where we're at. Cleveland, Don Mitchell returned, looked much, much better. 29, 4 and 8, 3 steals and a block. We love that. Evan Mobley had 12 and 12 with 3 steals and 4 blocks, so huge numbers there. And Jarrett Allen, 16 and 10. Dracaris LeVert was pretty good. He also had a lot of 2s, 18, 2 and 2 with 2 steals. But on the bench, and then probably the lowest game of Max Strus recently. He had 8 and 6 with 2 threes, but we just hold on to them. We don't do that with George Niang or with Isaac Okoro, who did not much. In fact, I said you hold on to Max Strus. Maybe you don't. Because Strus, you know what? You don't. Because you can drop Strus, get somebody else in on Thursday, and then everyone goes on Friday and Sunday. You can either get Strus back, or you can find a better option. Like, holding on to Strus to forgo an opportunity to stream someone on Thursday probably isn't going to end up being the correct move, I would guess. The next game, Charlotte. Big win. For no real reason, but they get the big win over the Atlanta Hawks. Some lineup changes here. Really all over the shop. Honestly, we had Trae Young return for Atlanta, and DeJounte Murray was resting. We had DeAndre Hunter. Well, that's actually wrong. DeAndre Hunter was resting, and Garrison Matthews started. I mixed those ones up. Apologies for that. So he was resting. And then you had Jalen Johnson down with the ankle injury, so Vit Krejci starts. I think that DeJounte comes back and plays next game. I think that DeAndre Hunter is back next game. Jalen, I don't think will be, but I don't know because we don't really have a strong update on his 3rd ankle sprain of the season. But the Hornets win it. 115-114. Trey Mann played 37 minutes. He had 16 and 3 with 7 assists and 7 steals. About a week and a half ago, they sort of dropped Mann to playing 25 minutes, and I go, that's a bit weird. But now he's the one getting the minutes, and it is Vasa Micic who's dropped off, who played 22 minutes here, Vasa. He had 2 points with 5 assists. Again, if you wanted to drop Vasa to get someone in on Thursday, go for it. Get the extra game. Grant Williams' last 2 games have been down as well, 27 minutes. He had 16, 6, and 5, but the minutes are down, while Brandon Miller was really good with 27, 3, and 2. And Miles Bridges, only 30 minutes for Bridges, but hit the game winner, 18, 3, and 3. If that was the only thing that Bridges hit, we'd be feeling pretty much better about him. Nick Richards had 7 points in 19 minutes. He did foul out. We don't roster him in this reserve role. Not much from Davis Bertans, just the one triple. For the Hawks, honestly, I don't care. And I say I don't care because they didn't care. They didn't care to win this game. They were preserving their players, and I totally get it. Like, the best thing I can say here is that Trae Young came back. Imagine getting a Trae Young game where he shoots 100%. That's what you got. But he played 21 minutes. He had 14, 4, and 11 with 2 threes on 100% shooting. But they didn't give him minutes. They didn't give Bogdan minutes. He played 22. Clint Capella played 21. Like, we had 26 minutes of Dylan Windler. This game, they didn't care. They sat a bunch of guys. They played limited minutes for everybody else. It means nothing. Obviously, Trae Young is a guy that we activate for the next one on Friday. Bogdan was fine, 19, 1 and 8, but also I think he's almost getting to that stage with a healthy Trae and DeJounte. If you wanted to drop Bogdan to get a Thursday player in, I do understand that. I don't think we're getting a Kongwu back at any point here this regular season. While Kobe Buffkin had 11 in 24 minutes with only the 1 assist, and yeah, look, just a bunch of nothing. Like Garrison Matthews, 10 points, 2 dribbles, 31 minutes, maybe plays 0 minutes next game. It was a good Vit Krejci game, 19, 4, and 2, but so many guys are out. Maybe Krejci starts if Jalen's out, but we also don't care to use him in that spot. And Mohamed Gaye had a block. He had 7 rebounds, and he played 7 minutes. He was out there. He was playing, and that's probably all I need to say about Mohamed Gaye. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little bit further? Do you ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Well, our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and for great escapes. It's got class-exclusive Google built in as your always on-call and updating assistant. that you can use for almost anything. Gone are the days of having to connect your phone through to the car because you've got Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Nissan's incredible lineup also includes the 2024 Nissan Armada. It will change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Just picture a rugged 4x4 that can sit up to 8 in first-class luxury and style. Tow bigger and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or the Nissan Armada and go and find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. Okay. That is those first few games done. Of course it is. Let's move on. It's first 2 games done, actually. Let's move into the third game of the day. We're talking Dallas and Miami. And this is a game, weirdly, where we actually didn't have any lineup changes. The Mavericks win. They clinch 50 wins. They clinch a playoff spot, which they had already. And they get an easy win, 111-92. Kyrie played 37 minutes. He had 25, 3 and 4, 2 steals and 5 threes, shot 67%. Luka played 36 minutes and had 29, 9 and 9. And they have been unbelievably awesome recently. Just unbelievable. I think that they played Detroit on Friday. I think there's a real chance of a rest coming, but I'm not certain on that. Gafford on his one of those little runs again where he never misses. 12 and 5, 100% shooting with 3 blocks. It's 2 games in a row of not missing a shot from Gaff, while Paul Washington had 12 and 6 with 2 threes and 2 steals. That's the most sort of mid-game that PJ provides. Good. For him, that is good because you could have a 1-point legendary masterclass or a 30-point game on 4 shots. You know, there's usually no in between, but there was here. Tim Hardaway was nothing, 5 in 18 minutes. Exum did nothing, 3 in 19. And Derek Jones had a nice 2 steals and 2 blocks. The only reason I bring those names up, like Exum and Hardaway, is that if Kyrie and Luka sit on Friday, then we could stream those players in, but they could also get Jaden Hardy into that mix as well. And Josh Green returned finally, 3 and 4 in 14 minutes for him. We're not using him for fantasy, but he was back. You want to talk bad? Bam Adebayo, 8 points, 23%, no assists, no steals, no blocks, no threes. One of the worst games you will see from him. He's outside the top 100 over the last 2 weeks. Over the last 5 games, and I would say that it's been somewhat of a disappointing season from Bam. It's also been somewhat of a disappointing season from Jim Butler, who scored 12 points. The March-April MVP shot just 8 times for the game. He did have 2 steals and 2 threes and played 36 minutes. The guy that really did the most was Tyler Hero, 21, 7 and 6 with no Terry Rozier, and Caleb Martin played 38 minutes, going 14, 4 and 6. I don't think that we need to add Martin for Friday. Rozier could be back, and I just don't trust Caleb's production. You shouldn't also be trusting Jovic's production, who had 6, 5 and 4, nor should you trust Jaquez, who played 18 minutes for 6 points. These are deeper league guys and not 12-team league players. We also got a nice little out of nowhere double-double from Kevin Love. He had 16 and 11 with 4 threes. But again, go check the game log because he doesn't do this all the time, and there's no real reason I don't think you need to go out and chase that. I don't think Duncan Robinson returns on Friday. I think Rozier has a chance, but I also just don't know. What about the next game? It is your Toronto Raptors, the Brooklyn Nets. What a matchup of titans this was, and there were a lot of lineup changes. Emmanuel quickly returned. That meant Javon Freeman-Liberty moved to the bench for the Toronto Raptors. Nick Claxton was back for Brooklyn, and that moved Jalen Wilson to the bench. But that's not all, because we had Malik Williams starting with Kelly Olynyk resting. We had Garrett Temple starting with Rowan Barrett resting. And then we also had the prestige penis himself, Gradey Dick, inserted into the lineup, or Gary Trent rested this one as well. We got some very interesting takeaways in this game. We'll start with the score, because Brooklyn won 106-102. Quickly had 32, 7 and 9 with a steal and a block. And Freeman-Liberty, despite moving to the bench, had 12 points in 24 minutes. But remember, Olynyk, Barrett, Trent, Brown, are they going to play next game? Probably. Maybe, I don't know, but probably. Malik Williams, 7 points. This is a center, though, I think is at 30% in one start and 0% in the other start. You're a center, mate. He did have 14 boards and 2 steals, while Mamadou Gay, different from Mamad Gay, Mamadou Gay had 3 points with 3 blocks in his 23 minutes. Ochai Agbaji continues to be bad, 7 in 34 minutes, while Garrett Temple started in the year 2024. He had 4 assists, Garrett, with 2 steals, but honestly, again, we don't care. And it was finally the time for good Dick. 24 minutes, no, not 24 minutes. We had 34 minutes, actually, of Dick. 24 points, 6 three-ways, and 4 rebounds, but nothing else. We had to get 20 shots of Dick to get these numbers up. And with no Olynyk, no Barrett, no Trent, no Brown, who they could all return next game, I'm just not going to trust Dick to do this again. Like, it's just unlikely. We've seen so many chances that Dick has had, and he's just been nowhere near this. Now, again, you could take the flyer and hope that they get the good Dick out there, but, like, it's been very inconsistent. So, it's great that we got it, but don't bank on a repeat dicking down. For the Nets, this is where I have to really hold the desk down. 2 hands on top, still rising. Because Noah Clowney, is he him? He's him adjacent. He's not. When I talk rookies a lot, you hear what I say. We look at a lot of the stuff they do through college, Ignite, Europe, whatever. We have an assessment that we make on it. Small adjustments get made, but I'm not making snap adjustments 10 games in and going, Jaime Jaquez should go number 3 in a redraft. Or I'm not making those snap adjustments. So when Noah Clowney does nothing for 3 months, like, I'm not making a snap adjustment to tell you that I think that he's bad now because I thought he was a lottery talent. And here we are. So again, I was very big on Clowney. There are a lot of Nets people crying and complaining about the draft picks they made when guys that went after them started to produce at a high level. Man, what are we doing? We waste our draft picks. And I actually said it. I think it was to Doug Norrie from Locked On Nets, who he was relaying some of the some of the issues that Nets fans were having. Okay, you'll be fine. These blokes are young. You got good ones. Clowney is going to be good. Maybe I was like going, oh, maybe he's not, but I think he might be. Anyway, what do you have here? 10 and 7 in 39 minutes with 7 blocks. He started at power forward. They start him at center as well in some games. And April basketball is meaningless. Let's get that out of the way first. It is basically meaningless. But here's what I take away from Clowney. A, they are just finding whatever way they can to get him involved. Start at center? Sure. Start at power forward? Let's go for it. All right? They are doing a lot of things to get him in a position to get experience to see what he can do. And in every spot they've put him, he's basically excelled. And that is a huge W. Now, if you struggle, that doesn't mean the end of the world. If you succeed, it doesn't mean you're going to be awesome. But they're just doing a bunch of stuff that maybe go, oh, they're seeing something here. And they might, I'm not saying they're building around Noah Clowney, because that's very clearly an insane statement. But their power forward rotation, what is it? Well, let's start. Nick Claxton's an unrestricted free agent. Is he coming back? I don't know. Would you want to trust that Cam Johnson's your power forward of the future, given his health issues and even shooting slumps this season? Is Dorian Finney-Smith the guy you're counting on? What about if you decided that Dennis Schroeder's your starting point guard, therefore Ben Simmons is your power forward? How confident do you feel about any of that group? The answer should be not at all. This team can go in so many different directions with what they can do. And I'm actually, I don't think that Clowney is going to be a superstar next season or anything like that, but a Jalen Johnson type step up at some point is possible, either next season or the year after. As for now, just use him. Claxton, 14, 11, and 4 with 5 blocks, while Schroeder had 21, 7, and 9 with 2 steals. Shot a lot of times. They didn't go in much, but he did accumulate numbers. Johnson had 13 in 27 off the bench, while Cam Thomas, rough from the field as usual. As can happen. 32% shooting on 22 attempts with no assists and no steals. That's a real Cam Thomas special. Cam Thomas, again, he's been good and solid at times, but still is a real tough one to evaluate for category leagues. Jalen Wilson moved to the bench. That's cool. I think he still can be an okay rotation player. But again, I'm going to talk a lot here about the Nets for whatever reason, because I think there's some interest here. Is Mikal Bridges. What is going on? Bro is absolutely stinking. He had 11 points. He played 23 minutes at his 2 games in a row under 30. He shot 33%. And Kevin Ollie was asked, why didn't he play at all in the fourth quarter? He just said coaching decision. Is he that bad that he's getting benched? Is Bridges bitching and moaning about stuff? I don't know. Are they soft resting him so he can maintain a games played streak? What are the odds? He's got 2 games left. What are the odds that Mikal Bridges gets 60 minutes combined in those 2 games? There is no way. That is just not happening. There's no way that we are getting 60 more minutes out of Mikal Bridges this season. He'll play both games, but we are not getting 60 minutes. He is struggling in a massive way. And we're seeing a lot of this stuff happen. Look, again, what is this garbage? Last 5 games, 29 minutes a game, 166th ranked player. Yeah. Ugh. I would be feeling no level of confidence in Mikal Bridges whatsoever. None. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. It is playoff time in the NBA and the NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 redos in bonus bets guaranteed. That is $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from the old slap shots, the dingers, the slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Go to fanduel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win because you get just $150 bonus bets to you straight away. Easy. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. I'm going to come back here with an addendum to that Nets game. Hear me out. 2 games left. I think you can drop Mikal Bridges. And this is why I say that. He obviously doesn't play Thursday. There's a chance on Friday he gets like 20 minutes, and there's a chance he plays 2 minutes on Sunday. He's also bad in the minutes that he's getting. So if you wanted to get somebody in on Thursday with the potential of Bridges having limited minutes across those final 2 games, it is always like you took him round 2, round 3, wherever you drafted him. That doesn't feel great to do it. But like, what are you holding on for? I'm not saying you have to do it. But it shouldn't be a no-brainer that you have to hold him. I think you can consider that something that is possible. Something that is possible that you might be able to get just a little bit of a bonus out of. Next game, ass-kicking. Spurs Thunder. Wembanyama didn't play. Not surprised after the way Pop spoke yesterday. Zach Collins started while Lou Dort got a rest for the Thunder and Kaysen Wallace started in place of him. It does feel like that the Spurs don't want Wembanyama to play the final 2 games. It also sounds like that Wembanyama is pissed off with not playing, but it does then feel like that the Spurs will end up getting their way. Pop's saying stuff, we'll see how the ankle is. Yeah, the ankle's fine, my guy. We'll see how you can convince him to not complain publicly about not playing these last 2 games. I don't know this for certain, but I also feel okay that if I've got Zach Collins, I probably will hold through it. We also know that the horse isn't coming back. Like, that's not happening. No Keldon. 127.89 here. What we can talk about is Zach Collins had 20 and 7 with 2 blocks. Love that. But what do I do when Raekwon Gray, David Duke, no, not that one, and CD Sissoko and Jamari Boyea play double-digit minutes? That's where this game was. Gray had 13 points. Sissoko played 28 minutes, had 14, 5, and 3. And that's a little bit interesting. Devontae Graham was putrid, 2 points in 21 minutes. Sandro Mamakilishvili was putrid, 0 points on 0 of 8 shooting with 11 rebounds. Julian Champagny played 24 minutes. They just benched the backups to bring the third stringers in. 5 points for Champagny with a steal and a block on 14%. Bubbles went flat. So Trey Jones played well, but is he going to play the other 2 games? I don't know. I'm okay with Zach. If you've got Champagny and you want to drop someone for Thursday, go for it. Same with Mamu, go for it. Because I think there's going to be a lot of random stuff on Friday and Sunday on this squad. Like, a lot. You might get 30 minutes out of Blake Wesley. You might get a top 50 game from CD Sissoko. Not even joking. It's just so hard to know. For the Thunder, Chet Holmgren's on pace to play all 82 games, but he took the second half off here to rest. 15 minutes, 9 points, 6 rebounds. Wallace went scoreless. He had 3 steals. We know what he does there with the steals. The Bronco had 10 and 7. Jalen Williams with 3 steals. And Shea had 26 and 6 in 26 minutes. It was good to see Josh Giddey drop 20 and 12 with 7 assists. But, what am I take? This game's an unserious game against an unserious opponent for a team that's very good and they didn't have to try hard. And that is what is going to happen in a lot of these games down the stretch. Understand that even if your player plays, they might not get full workload or go full intensity. Right, as they rightfully shouldn't. There's no need for them to go full pace in a game where the opposition is just not trying. The next game is the Orlando Magic and the Milwaukee Bucks. And this was a game with some stakes. It didn't really work out that way for Orlando. Caleb Houston started. Gary Harris was resting. Bob Portis. They finally started Bob Portis with Giannis Antetokounmpo out for the rest of the regular season. And then we had no Chris Middleton as well, and Leaky Beasley got back into that spot. The Jay Crowder starting experiment was over. Don't know why it took that long. He was trashed for months and months and months, but here we are. So Leaky Beasley went back in to start for Middleton, and Middleton will just likely go back and start the next time out. So Orlando loses 117-99. Cole Anthony, he was one of my big stream guys for today because I thought that Markelle Fultz was going to rest. Well, Fultz didn't rest. In fact, Fultz started. He had 6 points in 22 minutes, so he probably should have rested. But Cole still played 33 minutes. He had 23, 4, and 4. His game log's wild. This is great. Look at the game yesterday. Was he scoreless in 15 minutes? It's just all over the shop. I don't think you need to hold Wendell Carter, another stinker, 9-3, 23 minutes. You move on from that. Caleb Houston couldn't have been worse, 0 of 5 from the field. Paolo had 20-6, while Suggs had 18-3, but no Franz Wagner, and it is really hard for this team. Mr. Black played 22 minutes. He had 5 points there, and Joe Ingles had 3-3. But this game was over so early, and there was no Franz, no Gaz. But interestingly, Fultz played the back-to-back, and John Isaac played the back-to-back. So I didn't really know that was going to happen, and they still got punked. For the Bucks, Bob Portis had 30-9 with 5 steals. Imagine getting 5 steals from Bob Portis. I think he had 20 points in the first quarter. Lillard also was great, 29, 6, and 9. And Beverly, I think Beverly's almost a must-roster, guys. 13, 8, and 6, 20 or 30 minutes. Brook Lopez had 10-4 with 3 blocks. And we actually got decent game out of Jay Crowder, amazingly. 14-4 in 31 minutes. Do not add him. But it was better. While AJ Green suffered an ankle injury, he didn't return. I don't think he comes back the regular season. And Leaky Beasley was bad again. 8 points, 2 threes, 5 rebounds for Leaky. And we're not doing anything apart from streaming him if we get into desperation situations. We do the next game. The top 2 seeds, or 2 of the top seeds in the Western Conference. It was the Denver Nuggets up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Nuggets put everyone in. Aaron Gordon returned, so Christian Brown moved to the bench. They didn't have any resting for Jamal Murray on the back-to-back, which was a little weird, but everyone went, and the Nuggets ended up getting the victory here. 116-107, the final score. Of course, the Wolves are still without Towns. He might return Friday, if not Sunday, it seems. But you would imagine he'd be relatively limited. It's still a pretty early return from meniscus surgery. On a back-to-back here, Conley was great. 19 points with 5 threes, and Gobert had 13 and 15 in 39 minutes. Gobert's minutes at the moment are very, very high. And in this one, it was, on the surface, it looks fine for Nasrid. 13 and 6 with 2 steals and a block are really good counting stats. Unfortunately, he was absolutely brutal with percentages. 1 of 5 from the line is a killer, and he shot 32% on 19 attempts. I think we still hold him, but the worry has to be that if Towns comes back, does he play 24 minutes, and then that's not enough. Hold him for now. You don't have to hold on to Kyle Anderson.
Get that garbage out of here!
4 points in 15 minutes there, while Anthony Edwards had 25, 2, and 4, which was fine without being spectacular. And Jaden McDaniels, as usual, did nothing. 9, 2, and 3 in his 34 minutes. For the Nuggets, Jokic, 41, 11, and 7 with 3 steals. The headmaster played only 27 minutes. Jamal Murray still limited, but he had 20 and 4 with 6 assists. And Michael Ponder had 18 and 8. But what about Peyton Watson? He only played 23 minutes and had 3 points, but 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 blocks. There's going to be an opportunity at some point in the future seasons, where he's a starter, playing 32 minutes, and he's averaging 12, 8, 3, 1, and 2.7. Going to be an absolute fantasy start. Think what Jonathan Isaac could have gotten to. Watson might, maybe not quite Isaac level, but yeah, maybe. I'm really excited about what he brings. Christian Brown had a big dunk towards the end of the game and played 27 minutes, but only 8 and 5 with a steal and a block. And in this one, we still only got 26 KCP minutes and 28 Gordon minutes. Now, it's fine to have those guys for today, but would you use those guys on Friday and Sunday, KCP and Gordon? Probably not. So that means they do become droppable if you want to add somebody in on Thursday to get the extra game out of them. With Murray back, we got 9 points in 20 minutes out of Reggie Jackson, which you don't need me to tell you is nowhere near enough. Now, let's do the final game of the day, the Suns, and against something that passes for the Clippers. We did have some lineup changes in this one. Yusuf Nurkic, after yesterday, Frank Vogel said, don't think he's going to play. Well, he was available. He started, so Drew Eubanks went to the bench. And then the Clippers rested everybody. Russell Westbrook was out, so Bones Hyland, the big stiffy, he got a start. But that's not all. We had a lot of other ones. We had actually the Suns making another meaningful change. Grayson Allen got benched. And Royce O'Neal started. Mason Plumlee started. Ivica Zubac wasn't listed as out, but was out, which would have been great to know. We also got Amir Coffey starting in place of Norman Powell, and PJ Tucker starting in place of Paul George. So the only Clippers starter who started was Terrence Mann, and then he didn't start in the second half. So what does this tell us? Nothing. Nothing at all. It tells us that the Suns made a change, but that's really it. So Phoenix wins it in the end, 124-108 with a storming fourth quarter. But again, what is it telling us when they were literally fully healthy and there was nobody available for the Clippers? Booker had 37 in 39 minutes with 4 assists. Royce O'Neal was great. 15, 7, and 5. 3 steals, a block, 3 threes, 33 minutes. I would consider Royce as a maybe option for Friday and Sunday, but I wouldn't burn a roster spot for a 0 on Thursday. And we have seen Royce get opportunities and actually do nothing with them. This was great. I'm not fully into it. 26, 5, and 4 for Bielo, while Durant had 24 and 9 with 2 blocks. And Nurkic had one of the craziest games you will see. 3 points. That stinks, doesn't it? Yeah, but he had 19 rebounds and 10 assists. He hit his only shot of the game and then went 1 of 2 from the line. Just an insane game. Drew Eubanks, not in the rotation at all. From starting yesterday to not playing at all. And Grayson Allen, who's been great all season, had 6 points in 23 minutes. And I would normally say hold and see what happens. I think you'll get that spot back. But no, there's 2 games left.
Get that garbage out of here.
Drop him. Get somebody else in. Eric Gordon had 11 points with 2 threes in his 24 minutes for the Clippers. Well, what am I going to tell you? Bones Hyland played 43 out of 48 minutes. He had 37 points, 9 assists, and 3 steals. Shot 52%. A, he'll never shoot 52% on 29 attempts again. B, he'll never play 43 minutes again. It was great. It was also great to see BJ. 40 minutes for BJ Boston, 23 and 7, 2 steals and a block. I like BJ. I think he's going to be a good player, but there's just no opportunities to get BJ into the lineup on this Clippers team on a regular basis. No Harden, no George, no Zubats, no Leonard, no Powell, no Westbrook. So throw this all in the bin. The Cockroach, 12 and 12, Mason Plumlee. Awesome. Cool. Kobe Brown, 4 points, 28 minutes, well, useless. Terrence Mann, 3 points in 8 minutes. Yeah, there you go. So all those guys are out, and then Terrence Mann played 8 minutes. So it's great that we got the big stiffy getting 37 minutes with 9 assists. It's great that we got 40 minutes of BJ Boston. But none of it matters. Because unless they sit all those guys again, which I guess is technically possible, you're not going to get this to be anything real. Harden, George, Zubats, Leonard, Powell, Westbrook, Mann, all out. Top 8 guys not playing. Is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Top 7 guys. Top 7 guys not involved. So that's great. But it doesn't mean anything, I don't think, anyway. Let's do lines of the night. Who's your monstrous today? Well, the monstrous also happened to snag another award while he was at it. He was the waiver wire line of the night, and that is the man that we just talked about, the 5-minute man himself who played 43 in this one, Bones Hyland, 37 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. Pretty much do not care at all unless they just continue to sit everybody out, which I don't think that they will, although it is possible. Anything could happen at this point. The young gun of the night, Boner doesn't qualify because he has played, this is his 3rd season. We're talking 1st or 2nd year guys. So we're looking for the best 1st or 2nd year player, and it has to go to Noah Clowney. 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 blocks. Big minutes. I think he starts all of the games here on out, and I'm very interested to see where this goes for Clowney. And lastly, we go to the dud of the night. The impact on percentages for Naz Reid was pretty large. He was close to being there, but in the end, I have to go to Bam Adebayo. What is this? 8 points, 3 rebounds, no assists, no defensive stats, and shoots 23 from the field. Disgusting in all areas, the big fella, Bam Adebayo. That then brings us now to look at the top 6 performers for the day. Bones, as we know, was right up the top there for the category league. So he was number 1, followed by Punch Bob, Bobby Portis, Emmanuel Quickley in at number 3, Don Mitchell at 4, Jokic at 5, and Jake LaRavia in at 6. Your top 6 under 50% rostered players. Number 1 is Bones. Just keep an eye there, but don't rush to grab him because there's a chance that all these guys play on Friday. In fact, I'd be very, very certain that at least Westbrook plays on Friday. LaRavia, maybe. Don't add for Thursday, but maybe. It's just hard to know what they're going to do. Noah Clowney, yeah, I'm a little bit interested there. Royce O'Neal, maybe for Friday. I'm a little bit interested in him. Pat Beverly, I think that's almost a yes. And Cole Anthony, out of nowhere, not really concerned with that one. I don't think it's going to be much to care about. And then your top 6 in points leagues. Jokic was 1, followed by... that's not the right list. Where's this list? Oh, no, maybe it is. No, that's not right. Jake LaRavia was not number 2. That name... Why did I put LaRavia there? That was Bones Hyland at number 2. Followed by Bobby Portis, Emmanuel Quickley, Donovan Mitchell, and Luka Doncic. It's been a long year. Guys, that'll bring us to the end of this show. I think you know what to do. No, not that. Go and do this. Hit the thumb. Hit the subscribe. Ring the notification bell. And leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening and for watching, everyone. See ya.